to The Writer's Dream. Our show is one where authors get to talk about their books, how they wrote them, how they published them, and how they market them. My name is Linda Maria Frank, and I am the author of Annie Tillery Mysteries, which you can get in touch with and find out all about on my Facebook page, Official Fans of the Madonna Ghost. The Writer's Dream also has a Facebook page, and if you have any questions for us, we would appreciate if you would post them on the Writer's Dream, and we'll try to answer them. Today's guest is Jerry Allocca. He is the author of Connected Culture and 7 Digital Secrets. He's also an instructor at Hofstra in their continuing education division, and he teaches digital media. He is the founder of Core Interactive Marketing. Jerry, you have a lot of titles here. And he's the go-to guy for digital marketing. Now, you might be wondering why I am so excited about having Jerry on with his digital marketing material, but authors, for the most part, really don't think in terms of big business people, and they really don't take advantage of all the things that are out there for them on the internet. And I took a course with Jerry at Hofstra, and I was really inspired to get out there and make good use of all of the tools on the internet. So this is why I'm having Jerry on. His book covers, first of all, he talks about why do we connect with people, who do we connect with, and how do we connect with them? And that's exactly what authors need to do to get people to read their book. You get the book, you get it published, there it is. Nobody knows it's there. Nothing's going to happen with it. So this is, I think, going to be a very valuable show for authors. It covers such topics as the internet, websites, email, text, search engine optimization, social media, and more. Jerry, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So what inspired you to write this book? How did you get into this whole field of digital marketing?
You know, I was always the go-to guy. You know, back in the 90s, it was, you know, do you need a website? Oh, just call Jerry. Or we need more eyeballs on the website? Call Jerry. He knows all that stuff. And so, you know, in a way, I didn't find the business. The business found me.
I see. And so you just kept getting...
I kept getting referrals. I kept getting clients.
And also better and better. I mean, how did you learn all of this stuff?
Really rolling up your sleeves. I mean, I went to school for computer science and got a bachelor's and things like that, but you really have to be a self-learner.
Yeah,
you really have to
I think
learn
that's true.
Constantly.
Because it changes constantly.
Right.
Every time I think I've got Facebook down, it's like the supermarket when they change where everything is. So.
And they just recently changed their Facebook page.
Yeah. I'm annoyed again. Yep. You know, I mean, my computer has, you know, very red ears from the things I say to it when somebody changes something. Where did you go to school?
Old Westbury. That's SUNY.
You're right. Okay. Yeah. So if I went to you and I asked you for a website, what would you tell me?
We would sit down. I have a project planner, so to speak, and we talk about the future. So right now we're in 2014. We jump ahead to 2015, and we say, well, where do you want to be? What does that future look like a year from now? And then we kind of work backwards and say, all right, what goals will get us to our desired outcomes? And then what's standing in our way? And that's really, I think, what separates our process from most others is those obstacles. And a lot of people see it as very bad things, but it's really the raw material for accomplishing your goals. So you identify all the obstacles, we develop strategies for each, you know, to overcome each obstacle, and then we get to that, you know, future that everybody wants.
So, and that is a lot of learning. Now, you did, how long did you do this before you decided to put it all together into a book?
The whole thing took 2 years, and I have to say the process was absolutely, you know, one of self-discovery, really. I was always a night owl. I'd stay up all hours of the night because there's no employees knocking on your doors, there's no phone calls, there's no kids, there's nothing late at night. Yeah. So I said, okay, this is my quiet time. I'm going to get to do what I have to do. I was very inspired to write the book because everybody around me kept saying, oh, you should write a book.
Yeah,
you know, and I would explain this, and oh, that's great, you should write a book. And you hear that enough times, you say, well, what's
Maybe
stopping
I should write
me?
a book.
What's stopping me? Nothing. So, you know, I would work on it at night, and that really wasn't working. I was not happy with what was coming out, and it's just something wrong, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Why is this not working. You know, I've written articles, I've written, you know, other types of things. Why was a book such a challenge? And what I learned, and I actually learned this on vacation, of all places, and you know, first night there, I just couldn't sleep. So I was up at like 4:30, like 5 o'clock in the morning. And, well, what was I going to do? You know, I sat outside. We were in a condo and overlooked a golf course. It was beautiful. And all of a sudden, all these thoughts started to come, like, all right, where's my paper? Where's it? You know, and then I get the laptop. I start writing. I start, you know, and it just flowed. You know, it just flowed so easily, so naturally, and then so what do you think I did the next morning and the next morning and so now I'm kind of the opposite. I'm no longer the night owl. Now I'm more of a morning person because that's my best creative time.
Well, I don't know if that's what I do. No,
you know, works for everybody. But
I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning when I have to really write something. Yeah. And the other thing is that you said that was interesting was you were on vacation. Yeah. You were disconnected from all the things that pull at you because I do my best writing on planes, trains, and then in the wintertime, I'll just drive to one of the parking lots at Jones Beach or Captree, and I sit in the parking lot and I write in the parking lot. And I don't bring my phone. I mean, I have my phone in case of an emergency, but I don't turn it on. And so I'm disconnected. No one knows I'm there. And that gives me a feeling of freedom, and then it's true. That's when the thoughts flow.
Yeah, I actually did a lot of writing in a library. Was my go-to place. I'd visit different libraries, and because you have to be quiet.
Well, that's where I started writing. My first book I was on library duty when I was still teaching in high school, and it was quiet in the library, and there was nothing to do. Yeah. So that's when I started that's when I came up with Annie Tillery. She was born in a library.
Wow.
So,
excellent.
And so then what did you do to market your book?
Market the book. I did everything that the book says to do. I created a digital marketing plan. So I was crystal clear on who my audience is, who the competition was, and there's a lot of different social media books out there. And
I have 3 on my Kindle.
There you go.
Okay,
That's
there's
a good
yours.
book.
Yes, this is the best one. Okay,
Thank
but
you.
I have 2 others that I haven't looked at yet.
So I had a plan. Developed certain strategies that kind of fit with, you know, the audience and you know, what the book offers. And then that's really where the real work comes into play. And writing is hard. Publishing is hard. But marketing the book, I think, is where a lot of people just kind of fall flat or just don't do much.
Hardest.
Right.
It's the hardest. Right. Did you get a traditional publisher?
No. I was definitely going the self-published route. I took a page out of Seth Godin's. He got rid of the traditional publishers, and he's doing all self-publishing. To me, you know, somebody who's not a well-known author, I don't have much value for a traditional publisher. They're not going to invest in me. They're not going to market me. They're not going to do much.
See, I like what you said here because I see this as a tipping point right now. What's happening in publishing right now is so many people are just disgusted with the whole concept of having to find an agent who believes in you, who isn't just looking for the next bestseller, but believes in your project, and then getting to a publishing company that's willing to publish anything at this juncture. And so people are really going into, I mean, it's become a huge business. Yeah. I think well, I know the last company I went with, Archway, they're affiliated with Simon & Schuster. Right. And you just hope, because your hope is still that you'll be, you know, traditionally published, that division will look at your book. But they look at sales. Right. So then it's marketing. You get back to marketing. And
through talking to people, I learned, you know, this is just, you know, from the things I was hearing from people in the industry, 5% of the author, from a traditional publisher, 5% bring in all the revenue. And everybody else are,
James Patterson.
Ah, okay.
Who doesn't even write his books anymore. Huh. He writes it out. I saw him on, I guess it was Charlie Rose. Writes a 90-page outline, and he gives it to one of his writers. Interesting. And I mean, he has such a well-oiled machine now. Well, good for him. You know, that's great. But and he's a good writer. But you're right. There are. I mean, just walk into Barnes and Nobles, and you'll see who those people are, who that 5% is. And I have several friends. I have one friend in particular. You may know her. She used to be a host on this show, Dina Santarelli. She's hooked up with Hofstra too, and she had an agent, and the agent put her stuff out to 10 really big publishing companies, and they all said, you know, we like the book, but we're just not doing this kind of project now. We don't want to take on a new project. Or they would try to rewrite it. Well, maybe if you take this and rewrite this whole part here, then we'll look at it again. And finally she sat down with the agent, and the agent told her, she said, you know, even if I get you one of these people, even if one of these people take you, they will not invest in you in marketing. You will have to do all the marketing yourself.
Right.
So why bother?
And that's the exact thing that I heard, and I said, well, you know what? I don't really need help marketing. I know how to market it. Let me just do what I have to do. Plus, and I could be wrong, but I think they give you like 15% of the book sales or something to that effect, whereas self-publishing, I think it's the other flip side of that coin.
Sure. I mean, you can make as much money as you want with self-publishing, pretty much. Right. But after you get the advance, also legally, after you get the advance, you don't own the book anymore.
True, and that's the other problem is that, yeah, you know, I
so if I'm discovered by Steven Spielberg, can I sell the book rights to him? Right. So there's all of that to consider, and I do believe that this is a tipping point in the industry where some very smart person is going to have to figure out what the right formula is to, you know, I guess make the most money, because money is the whole thing. Yeah. So I see a lot of materials around. I love your banner. I also have a huge banner which I, you know, have invested in, and that's one of the trappings that we traveling authors have. What kind of events do you do?
Mostly speaking engagements. I was a speaker before I was an author, so since about 2007 I was speaking. The book I started writing in about 2009, but I usually use it as you know, back of the room type of product. So after I speak, and I usually bring a limited number of books, so that people know that first come, first serve, and then you see a line forming by the table, and which is nice.
Yeah. Oh no. So. I mean, there's every opportunity to sell a book. I've sold books standing online at Staples, so getting my promotional materials done. Right. So I've written a book, I published the book, I've gone to you, you've made me a nice website. What's the most important thing on that website to get traffic?
The most important thing on the website, believe it or not, is the analytics that you don't see. This is really, I think, where a lot of people miss the mark, is tracking the analytics and tracking the conversion. And conversion is basically the desired outcome. Remember we talked about those, the future that you want. What do you want to have happen? Well, on your website, you probably want them to buy the book, obviously number one, contact you with questions. Maybe they're on the fence about, you know, buying. Add them to your email list, which is very important, because once they're on the email list, then you can, you know, send them messages periodically, you know, filled with value. But you know, now that they're on the email list, you know, you can
send them a newsletter.
Right. So these are some of the desired outcomes of a website. So you need some way to measure success. So you're doing marketing on Facebook, you're doing networking, and maybe you're running ads as well. You're driving traffic to the website. So you need the analytics to tell you, okay, they came from Facebook, they went here, here, and then they dropped off. Or they went here, 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 purchased, and got to the thank you page. So these are the things that you really need to see, because when you're marketing, you want to know what's working, and really, most importantly, you want to know what's not working. Because the last thing you want to do is keep spinning your wheels, and you know. So I would say the conversion tracking and the analytics are probably the most important part of the website.
And how do you get that? You say you can't see it, but how do you get
It's Google Analytics is one thing I would recommend. It's a free tool. You'll probably need a webmaster to hook it up, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah.
But once it's up and running, then you know there's all kinds of how-to videos. Google's great like that, and just figure out how the thing works, how to generate the reports, and study them.
Yeah, well, I'm in the middle of that right now. I just had my website overhauled, and still not finished with it. You know, there's other things that I want to add, but the person I'm working with, there is a man who runs a company who's hosting it for us, but still in all, the woman I'm working with, we have to figure out how to get all those things and connections and links and whatnot. But I think she's having fun. I just sit back and I go, Okay.
Glad you're having fun.
Yeah,
I'd rather
and-
do
and-
something else.
Yeah, I'll go and write a book, okay? It's really much easier for me. So, okay, now I have my website, and I should do a newsletter.
Do a newsletter. It's probably one of the first things you should do. It's very inexpensive. But, you know,
Constant contact.
Aweber,
MailChimp.
MailChimp,
Yeah.
things like that are, really invaluable. But, of course, what's the key? It's the writing.
Yeah.
What are you writing? You don't want to just send nonsense or just direct selling garbage.
Right,
You want
right.
to create value. And if you know your audience, if you've done your research and you have an audience profile, and you know what these people want, and you know what their fears and concerns are, you know everything about these people, then it's easier to write to them. You know what's value to them.
And is that in Google Analytics as well? A profile of?
No,
or
you have to do
this
your
a different
research.
way? You just have to figure out,
Yeah.
okay, what teen mystery
Google
lovers
Analytics
love.
will tell you who's, where your traffic is coming from, where they're going, what's working, what's not working. But the actual research of your audience, that's got to come from you.
And what about search engine optimization? Can you explain that?
Sure. I can explain it as simply as I can. It's basically a way where people searching for information can find you over your competitors.
So in other words, when I go to Google and I put in, best beach on Long Island, okay, so then lots of these web addresses are going to come up to enable me to find the best beach on Long Island. And so what I have to do in search engine optimization is I have to find the words that people are going to put in there.
Exactly.
And write them into my text, in my whatever text, newsletter, the text on the website.
The email is probably the one thing that is not going to affect SEO, but everything else does. Your website, your blog is probably one of the best ways where you have a constant, fresh, new feed of information. So a blog connected to the website, married, is really the way to go, because you'll have your website, and mostly it'll be sales pages or information-based pages and the outline and about the author and about the book and stuff like that. But it's really the blog where you get fresh new content to push out there to reach new markets. And if you think about blogging is really the heart of social media, because you have your website, right? But now you need eyeballs.
That was going to be my question: is what do you think about blogs?
So driving traffic, but it's not about driving traffic. You want the right traffic. So social networks are probably one of the best ways. So get onto Facebook, and it really depends on your audience. My best social networking platform for this book is LinkedIn, because this book is for business professionals. LinkedIn is all about business professionals. There are certainly business professionals on Facebook to everywhere.
Right.
But LinkedIn is all business professionals.
Yeah. I underutilize LinkedIn. I should really, get onto LinkedIn as soon as I have 14 more hours in the day.
But one thing you want to do, and what the book will teach, is all the different flavors of social media, how they work together. Like, blogging is the heart. But then when you have this content, now you got this content, same thing like, now you have a book, you got to market the content. And just like you got to market your book, now you got to market your blog posts.
Yes, yeah. Well,
so you do that through building up networks, building up followings on Facebook, social networks, Twitter, right?